Al has one more here.
Many of you, obviously, a lot of the young guys don't know, but way back in the day when Old Main used to be here, it burned one day, and I had the I don't know, fortunate or unfortunate opportunity. Anyway, I went over there and helped pull file cabinets and a number of things out of that building as it was burning, and as a number of other students did, and it was, I don't know, it was just something we did because it was needed to be done, and we tried to save as much as we could that day. Yeah, I never really forgot about it, but I really never thought that much about it, and I just happened to mention something to Susan today about this, and it brought back a lot of memories about that particular day and some of the challenges we faced. I was telling her that we were pulling file cabinets out of the second floor, and we laid them on their back so the drawers would stay shut, slid them down the hallway, and then slid them down the stairs and took them out the north door because everything on the south end of the building was on fire at the time. And we did that until we cleaned out as many of the classrooms. There were a number of offices that were in there. We cleaned out the stuff in the offices. There was no order about what was happening. It was just a question of getting it out the door. And so we worked at that as well until we got chased out of the building by the fire department because the fire was becoming too intense. And so then I went down into the basement to help some others. At the time, the University Museum was in the basement, and all of the artifacts from the university that were held in the museum were all in that basement. And when I went down in the basement, the water was knee deep because all this water was running down from the second and third floor, first, second, and third floor. And so it was raining in there basically because of all this water. So we took, again, all of this, we broke the display cabinets, anything that we could grab we took out of there, and until we got chased out of there. But it was, again, it was an interesting experience. I didn't think about it so much at the time. I told Susan that that evening, I remember they thought for a while they had the fire under control, and then it took off again in the middle of the day, and then the whole building was just totally destroyed. But that evening they interviewed, I think it was the head of the English department on television, and I remember I was out at the house and I happened to see this guy on TV, and he was complaining about his English department. None of the records were saved, and the reason we didn't save it is because it was the English department. And I don't know, I wanted to kill a guy, but anyway, it was, again, it was an interesting experience that I had while I was here at SIU. And Susan today gave me a pen set with a little piece of the wood that is left from Old Main.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of SIU history.
That is some
And the
real
year was
history.
what, Al? What year was that for our collegiate brothers?
I think that was 1969.
That was 1969.
100 years.
And do any of the current students know where Old Main stood?
Yep.
Any of the current students? In front of Shryock Auditorium. between Shryock and Davies.
Doesn't the little fountain still out there?
Yes.
You know where the little fountain is?
You know where like 50 round, once you go past the second, like,
That was in front of
bridge?
it. Oh, yeah, remember the kid?
For the
Yeah.
That
thing never went off. They sure got painted a lot.
You know the building that looks like a castle?
Well, I think this kind of concludes this part of our gathering today. Thanks to the active chapter for gathering all this up and getting this ready. For the donuts and coffee this morning, we appreciate that. I don't know if anybody's going over to 116 small group housing or Schumer Hall. I refused to call it hall. It was only our house. So, but anyway, that's another story. As I said, I think the back door might still be open, but don't try to go swimming in the basement.
All I request, if you do happen to get in, please be careful and don't try to go in the basement.
Yeah, don't take any souvenirs. Al said the pool table might still be in the basement, so scuba diving gear.
No, don't go in there.
I was in there 2 years ago, and the water's up to the third step. I don't know any reason why it's any different now. So.
It's only about 6 inches deep. I mean, I don't know that, but.
Yeah. Probably got a crack in the wall and it all
Has
leaked
anybody
out.
been over there like this weekend to know if it's unlocked? Is it unlocked?
We were there this morning.
Oil still in the fryer.
It wasn't locked.
Don't, whatever you guys do, don't go looking for the pool table. It did make it out in 08. And it got reassembled, but it was never right, and eventually the legs fell off, and it had to go. So I'm sorry it did not make it. So.
Well, thanks everybody. Oh, one more thing I wanted to do. I mentioned, this morning Mary Buckles, Ken Buckles' wife was here, and she's here with us. She's back there in the corner. That's one of our. Ken and Brother Bob were in school. We lived out at 116 small group housing together. So a lot of years ago. Hard to believe it's been that many years ago. But anyway, thanks a lot to everybody for your participation in our discussions this morning, for your inputs. I don't know how this is going to roll out, but it is going to be a process. In my mind, the hardest process is going to be to figure out how to lease, own. I don't know how that's going to work out. That remains to be seen. And then of course fundraising, but I really don't think fundraising will be a real problem if and when we figure out how to move this forward. I think that's the really big difficult part. But thanks again an awful lot to Susan for what she has put into this. To Mark Kupak, unfortunately couldn't be with us today. Rick and Chuck, your presentation. I think that ought to be nominated for an Academy Award. And Steve for collecting money this morning. We still got a few that need to pay at the door. Tonight, I guess the doors will open approximately 6 o'clock-ish. And we'll see you tonight. So have a great rest of the afternoon.
Did you want to say something? You want to
Can I
say
say
something?
Sure. Cost you a little more, but.
Well, that's all right.
Sure.
No, when you start something, you never know what's really going to come of it. But I was given an exceptional opportunity. I was president of the Ag Council, and to see what it's evolved into is pretty overwhelming. And you young people are getting to see what has been going on for a long time. These, not me, these people that have been talking to you today are involved because of what they learned, what they participated in. You are the future. You will have that same opportunity. It may not be here, but it will be somewhere. You can rest assured. And all I can say is go for it, meet the challenge, and the best of everything, and everyone here. Really, it's great to see you, and maybe I'll get back and meet a few more of the current student body, but I do have something for the current student body. 3 years ago was the last time I was back down here, and I have this nice big, what they call it, cornhole game, and it has a nice big symbol for Alpha Gamma Rho, and I can't remember his name. Aren't you the one that put it together? And we bought it at the auction, thinking, oh, our family will enjoy it. Well, guess what? It's never been used. So I brought it back, and so I'm gonna deliver it to the house today. So you'll have a cornhole game. You probably already have one, but you're gonna have another one.
Did we do most of the work in forming LEAC in this particular room?
Right, this is the room where we voted to argue.
Holy cow.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
There were lots of unhappy people, in particular the dean at that time.
Keffer.
Yeah, no, he had an acting dean then. Kepper was over in India or something on sabbatical. And so he was farmhouse.
Yeah, Dean Hayes, wasn't
Yeah. Anyway, he did not want anything to do with AGR. That was like a kiss of death. And the next morning after it was done, I got a lecture. It really did hurt. I mean, I knew he'd say something because you had to know the man. He's a nice guy, heck of an instructor. Not really what I would consider being decent, but hey, he was not happy. But you can't win them all, but I think we won. So
Yeah.
that's the important thing.
You bet.
And we wanna continue winning, and that's why we wanna get this house for you all, so. We're still gonna keep fighting administrators.
Oh, I could tell you all kinds of stories about administrators. We don't have enough time for that.